Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video, and I have an interesting one for you today. So I picked 10 different things that I am going to be, and I think honestly everyone should be excited for when it comes to Genesis 2 being released here in a few days. Kind of get that hype train rolling. But anyways, 10 things, and there's like little images, everything that I've got going with it. And I want to talk about why I'm excited and what I think they're going to do for the game. I think Ark has hit it. I'm hoping, from what I see, they're hitting the game pretty hard with quality of life changes and just in general fun things that are going to change the game. And I'm hoping that it really does do some of those things. And here's 10 reasons and kind of 10 things that I'm excited for, and hopefully you are too. But hopefully you enjoy it. This is kind of after our new release that got released, I want to say Thursday this week. And kind of just go over some of that stuff and some of the old stuff. 10 different reasons why I am super stoked. So let's go ahead and get into it with the first thing. Now, I have to say I'm excited for this one. One of my favorite weapons in the entire game is the compound and regular bows, because that's like what Ark started as. I don't know, for those of you that have played for a while and remember when, you know, some of these advanced technologies, compound bows, fabricated sniper rifles weren't really things. They weren't something you used. But the fact that there is some sort of tech bow involved now that creates its own arrows based on element and stuff means that some of those people like me that love using the bow are going to have a new thing to use, a new play toy, if you will. And with this bow, it's going to be super cool in my opinion, because I think it's going to be heavily overpowered. And again, if you can use it, it's going to be heavily overpowered. So that's my personal opinion on it. But they're changing the metas. The meta of the game of Ark is changing in this update, because they are including over, and this is just what I've counted so far, they have released 30 different new additions to the game so far, and I'm sure there's things that we don't even know about yet, but 30 different things is a lot, man. Starting with this tech bow, that's just a lot of stuff. Obviously, you can see the shadow main over here with this this tech bow, but the meta of Ark is changing, so that's just, you know, something I'm super stoked for, so hopefully you're kind of excited with me. But let's move on to the next thing. Now next, this gives me an inclination that Ark is starting to change to be more automated. Now, automated Ark is a mod that was made a while ago, years ago, and people really loved it because it's got different things. Now, the reason I say automated is because this mech is able to move and do things on its own without a rider being inside. Now, one of the biggest things that people complain about in Ark is like, you know, I've got all these dinosaurs, I've got all this stuff, but like I can't automate anything. Like I have to be there to actually physically change things. Like why can't my dinosaur swing at a rock on its own to get me some stone or something like that? This is where I think this update, they start to bring some real automation with some of the other things that they have. And I'll show you another one in a second here. But this is that first update where they're really trying to show what they can do for Ark 2. The sort of automation and new technologies they can bring in to Ark 2 with this new mech that is going to be involved, because obviously this thing's got jet boosters so you can be up in the sky. I think it's going to be battle. It's going to have a lot more uses than the original mech, which was just meant for battle, and that's it. This guy's going to have farming capabilities, all kinds of neat stuff. So that being said, I hope it's something that's really, really useful, and I'm stoked to see what they're able to do with some of these new technologies that they're involving, including this new mech that's going to be involved with the game. Now, this guy is just a single little exciting thing that people, again, don't understand how important it is to have this guy right here. The Noglin, this guy right here shows they are creating another new style of play. This is mind control. Now, I don't know how big or how long. We don't really know the details of how long you're going to be able to take over something and stuff like that. But again, they're expanding the repertoire of Ark, because Ark right now is pretty simple when it comes to PvP. There's only a few basic metas. There's only a few basic things you do. However, if you can kind of change how things move and how things act, that's what they're doing again in this new Ark Genesis 2 update. They're kind of changing it. This Noglin is going to be one of the examples of that. They're changing the mold just like Extinction did. Some people say Extinction is what ruined the game. In my opinion, Extinction is what saved Ark early, because they changed the whole mold of Ark. And I think this is my indication that they're doing that again. Things like Velonosaurs, things like Managarmers. Yeah, they're kind of broken, but they're cool. They're fun to use. This could be that new add in another broken fun thing to use and just create more and more. So there's not really broken things. There's just new ways to get through things. That's a hope. So take that for what you will again. Now, I know someone called me on this. Why do I say that? I say that because I don't know. I don't want to force my opinion on anybody, but this is just my thought. And if you disagree with it, you're welcome to do so. All right, here's another fun thing. In Ark, they have had creatures that reacted to you. They had certain areas that poisoned you, and they had like certain zones. But now they're going to essentially have wild turret-based things. This sort of like structure, or whatever you want to call it, this tree, is going to snap up some things in a certain biome. Now, how cool would it be if you were able to not tame, but use these as a defensive structure if you built your base nearby? You could literally use this in certain ways. I have a feeling you're going to be able to use it defensively for yourself too if you're running from something and kite like a raptor or a small to mid-sized tame towards this bush, that it's going to be able to pick it up and kind of like do that kind of basic stuff. But I think that these are going to be pretty interesting. They're changing how Ark works, because in Ark, like, the only thing you're scared about is dinosaurs. However, if the environment starts to fight back, it just adds more of that survival kind of like want to be there kind of feel back into the game that kind of needs something that it's just been lacking, that kind of real motivation to want to survive on your own. And I don't know, this kind of adds in that like little bit of fear factor again, because you're in a creature, you're a small, tiny, fragile creature amongst dinosaurs. You should have a little bit of fear. And a giant Venus flytrap, hopefully that does a little bit for you, because it terrifies me, that's for sure. Now, this is what I was kind of talking about earlier, and this is the next thing that I want to bring up. Ark is adding in what used to be mods, and they're adding it into their classic game. Now, the reason that I think they're doing this is because people are starting to get fed up with, oh, I got to click this, I've got to click that, I've got to do this, and I've got to go pick up this, go to my vault, do this. They're trying to simplify some of those really incredibly boring, frustrating things that you have to do in Ark, like filling turrets, doing this kind of stuff. And they're making it simple so you can just go to one mannequin. This one's the mannequin loadout guy, and you say you want to go for a raid. You've got everything ready to go. You've got a defensive kit ready to go. You've got a taming kit ready to go. So you can use and have different things so you never mess up. One of the most awesome things about this, in my opinion, the number of times I have lost a tame in a cryopod, some element, something that I forgot on me, or an artifact or anything, because I was like, oh, I forgot to put it away, or I forgot to pick it up. It's infinite. This is going to remove some of those headaches. Not only that, but it's going to simplify some of the really most frustrating part of this game, is like raid prepping, defensive prepping, taming prepping, all those sorts of things that you're like, ugh, does anyone have this? Do I have this? Where did I leave that last? If it's all ready to go, that is going to be really, really awesome. And I'm kind of stoked for that. Again, it changes the frustrating parts of Ark. So that's another reason I'm excited. Now, the next thing, this right here, I am pretty stoked for. Now, this is a big picture of pretty much everything you can see, and you can see kind of like the fundamental layout of Ark. You can see that it is literally a circular Ark. You've got the different types of dinosaurs that are existing. I think they're going to create some mold changing new creations, if you want to call it that, because I know that I have a theory that they're going to change up the Trudon, but I just like what this image kind of shows you. You can see the Void Wyvern, or the Voidling, whatever you want to call it. It's roasting this Rockwell over here, so you can understand that that's probably got something to do with being tameable and rideable. You can see the Astradelphus up there. They're just rideable in the wild, as well as with a tech thing on them. Pretty dope. The Strider, this is going to be huge. I'll talk about that in a second. But just in general, think about the number of things in this image alone that Ark is changing about their game. Now, I understand there's only a year left in this game before Ark 2 comes out, but when you think about it, this right here is huge, because when you are looking at this, it's something that, like, there is so much new content, so much new stuff. Like the hover sails, there's just a ton of stuff that you can use. Miniguns, Noglins, Shadow Mains. I'm hoping that there's enough new stuff to keep people engaged and want to play, so that way the Ark 2 has a bunch of new unique things. That's why I kind of included this little halfway point. But let's transition to what I just talked about. So the Striders. Now these guys right here, apparently they're going to be incredibly difficult to tame. However, because they are difficult to tame, there is something that I'm excited about. They're unique. Each one is going to have different abilities. You've got this sort of like offensive and defensive looking one where it's got like this giant blaster. They're all unique. You've got ones that can harvest materials, and I've got a feeling there's probably going to be like 4 or 5 different versions of these guys that have access to like certain things they're good at. Now, again, why I think that's cool is because in the wild, there are small creatures, there are large creatures, there are different sizes, different categories, different species, different genders, everything. And they're all uniquely good at something. What if this is their introductory point into the game where they're starting to be like, okay, what if I have larger and smaller ankylosauruses, and like the smaller ones are good at harvesting metal, but the larger ones are good at harvesting stone. And this could be kind of like their entrance point into that. And this is why I'm excited for that. This is like a testing point. No, it's not going to be perfect. These massive creatures of whatever, I'm sure there's going to be huge problems with them, but it makes me excited because there's going to be something involved. I don't know, something that they're going to test for the future, essentially. There's all kinds of stuff to be excited with these. So again, I'm excited for them. Now, here is my wackadoo theory, whatever you want to call it, shenanigans, crappy, blah, blah, blah. This is the Federation tech suit. Now, in my opinion, this is a great opportunity for ARK to customizably make a tech suit or armor, not just different values of like, hey, this one's got more armor and more durability, I'm going to wear it, but make different classes of armor. You could have tank, speed, harvesting. You can have different parts of your tech suit built for different things. Like maybe your helmet's got one helmet is particularly good at detecting creatures and one helmet's particularly good at detecting a longer range. Maybe one's like more accurate, but at shorter range. I think this is a great opportunity for ARK to create this Federation tech suit that we're all going to have access to. But not only do you have access to this tech suit, but you also, with access to this tech suit, you are going to have different customizable techniques. And that is really something that I am excited for. So hopefully it goes well, but you never know. It could be worse, but that's my thought. Again, another one of those game-changing things that I'm hoping ARK really is doing. Now, here's another thing. Now, this is my holy crap, they finally did it. One of the most frustrating things in ARK for me is you're the super advanced alien-ish species that has super powers and all kinds of special abilities, and you can't figure out how to have something automatically watch your eggs. Yeah, well, they finally introduced that. You can see that the eggs automatically incubate to the right temperature and then cook them down to the last possible second, so you can just throw them out, which is what you do honestly anyways, but you just have to watch it unless you're playing with mods. It'll tell you the levels, whether it's male, female, all kinds of really unique things. And this is huge for ARK because when you're looking at it, obviously you can see like the pulse, the heartbeat going on, tell you the levels, all that kinds of stuff. But you don't have to, you can make like 10, 15 of these things and just cook a bunch of eggs without having to worry about it. Even Bloodstalker eggs, which is one of the most frustrating things to try and pick up because they just sit down wherever they're left. So this is going to have like a pickup range, and there's, I don't know, this makes me excited because it's making the frustrating bullcrap parts of ARK fun again. So I'm excited for it. Now, this is another one of those meta changes to kind of bring up and remind me that they're using all kinds of new weapons and things that you can have, like the minigun. The net projectile is a new thing. Yes, chain bolas. I was reminded many times that chain bolas are a thing. But the net projectile, this kind of shows me that they're trying to add in new weapons to change the meta and change what is always used. The harpoon gun was basically useless. Let's be honest, it was more effective and cheaper just to use a very high level crossbow underwater. But the harpoon gun with a net projectile is something that's going to be huge. You're going to be able to take down trikes, stegos, all kinds of mid and lower sized tiers. I bet you there's going to be some sort of modification to take down larger dinos because there is no way to trap a large dino. You're telling me we have this alien civilization with the capability of flight and hovering, but we can't create a net to launch at something to temporarily stun it? Yeah, I don't believe that. So this is going to be huge. These are the kinds of things that they're not just adding in something into the game, but they're changing how the game is being played. If you have a net projectile and a harpoon gun, taming trikes is no longer hard. Defending your base against trikes is no longer hard. Defending against stegos is no longer impossible. All kinds of really unique things to add in counters, and that's where I'm super pumped because they're adding in things that make sense. They're not just adding in a bunch of random crap, which I felt Genesis 1 was. Genesis 2 things are being added because it looks like they're going to be added to make sense, and that's why I'm excited. Now, the final reason why I get excited, I'll be honest, I'm a little more PvE heavy than I am PvP heavy. This right here, look how pretty some of these Gen X versions are, or whatever you want to call them. They've got unique colors. They're adding in extinction dinos. They're adding in aberration dinos. This is the first map that they have truly released where you've got old dinos that everyone's like, why can I only get this dino on one map? Being added into this new map as well. So you can have snow owls. You can have reapers. You can have Phelonosaurs. You can get the Dilos, Shadow Man, Stylocolios, really dope looking Giganotosaur. Look at this thing. Tell me that's not cool. Tell me that is not one of the coolest things you've seen for like, I don't know. That's dope. If I was in the wild to be like, yep, I need that. I need that one. If it's got some green stripes down it, that would be mine. Now I'm hoping they fix the Brontosaurus. Brontosaurus, minus being like locked inside a cave or in a small area, are now basically useless because they've just got no value. They used to be so powerful because they had so much health and they could just like walk at bases and tank a little bit. And you're telling me the largest creature outside of the Titanosaurus has no value other than like swinging its tail for berries like once per day, maybe? That's crazy to me. Just crazy talk. So they're adding in all these new things. I'm hoping that it changes the game for the positive. I don't know. You're going to have to tell me what you think on that. But that's 10 things that make me excited, not only for Arc Genesis, but for Arc in the future. And that's kind of just my thoughts. I wanted to say, teach you guys what I was thinking. So hopefully you either agree or disagree. Just let me know in the comments below. And I'm pumped for Genesis. So hopefully you are too. And hope this helps. Teach.